To see how deep the ocean is.
The ocean is really, really deep.
Okay.
Deeper, in fact, than most of us realize. If you were to shave off all of the land from the tops of every continent and island in the world and fill up the ocean's deepest points with that land, then the entire Earth would be covered in an ocean 2 miles deep.
Hold on a minute. That reminds me of Minecraft, bro.
3/4 of our planet is already covered in water, though, and it goes a lot deeper than just 2 miles. Let's start with a sense of scale. This dot right here is the size of an average human.
That's
This
me.
slightly larger dot is the size
That's
of an
my
elephant,
brother.
and this is the size of the largest
That's my
ship
dad.
ever built, the Knock Nevis.
That's my
With that
dad.
in mind, let's start going underwater and see what we find out. The first milestone is at 40 meters below the surface, which is the maximum depth allowed for recreational scuba diving. A little further down at 93 meters is where the wreck of the Lusitania was discovered, which
How
is
deep is the ocean? It's actually 32,000 meters. 32,000 meters deep, I think. I don't know.
interesting because the Lusitania itself is 240 meters long,
Damn.
which means that it sank in water shallower than it is long, so if the ship was standing on its stern or bow, it would be sticking out of the water. Just slightly deeper than that, at 100 meters, is where diving can become seriously fatal
That's
if you're
kinda
not
deep.
careful because of decompression sickness. But that didn't stop a man named Herbert Nitsch to accomplish the free diving world record at a depth of 214 meters.
Hold on a minute. This dude is crazy, man. He's actually insane. 100 meters and 93 is already kind of deep. I'm not even gonna lie. That is really deep.
Yeah.
This guy swam down to this level with just one.
Yuck.
That's what he said.
Oh, I'm back.
Single breath. But a little further down at 332 meters, we have the scuba diving world record,
Another
which was
one?
accomplished by another man named Ahmed Gabir. If he had swam down another 111
What
meters,
the-
then he would have reached the height of the Empire State Building if it was submerged underwater.
That's
and a little
crazy.
further than that, at 500 meters below the surface, we arrive at the maximum dive depth of blue whales. The
Hold on a minute. A blue whale. That's literally the biggest creature on Earth, and it can't go that deep. That should be actually the limit. I'm not even gonna lie.
largest creatures on the planet and also the limit of the U.S. Seawolf class nuclear submarine.
Ooh.
At 535
Ooh,
meters,
that's a
we
cool
can
name.
witness the maximum dive depth of emperor penguins.
Emperor
and this is when we must bring up the
I know
intensity
that.
of water pressure. At this level below the surface, the water pressure exerted on a person or the penguins would be roughly equivalent to a polar bear standing on a quarter. So
What does that mean? Pull.
Please. Put it back in there now. Yan eh. Hold up.
Polar bears standing on a corner. I think that kind of means that how strong the pressure is.
further down the depths at 830 meters would be the height of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. Once we
Wow.
hit 1,000 meters below the surface, we begin to enter the scary zone.
Okay.
Light from the surface can no longer reach beyond this point, so the rest of the ocean below is shrouded in permanent darkness.
Yeah, I know.
On top of that, the water pressure
It's
you would
literally pitch black there. You can't see anything.
experience at this point would be about the same as if you were standing on the surface of the planet Venus, meaning that you would
Wow, that's crazy.
die very quickly. You would also meet the giant squid at this sea level if the
Hold on a minute. Giant squid. Does that even exist or not? That thing looks kind of small compared to a human. I mean, at over 2,000 meters, the colossal squid and the sperm whale actually was battling there.
Water pressure didn't already
I don't know
kill
why.
you. At 1,280 meters, we reach the maximum depth dived to by the leatherback sea turtle. And further down at 1,828 meters, we would reach the deepest part of the Grand Canyon were it to be underwater with us.
Grand Canyon.
Down at 2,000 meters, we start to encounter some of the more terrifying sea creatures, like
That
the
is
ominously named
definitely
black
the-
dragonfish, a
Yeah,
carnivorous
dude.
beast with a
That was
stomach that
literally
doesn't
what I
allow
was
light to be
thinking.
emitted through
I was
it.
thinking
Meaning
about that.
since we're in total darkness underwater at this point, the
never
only
watched
way
this
you would
guy.
ever see this thing is with a flash.
With the flashlights. Okay. We're just gonna ignore it.
A little further down at 2,250 meters, we would reach the maximum depth dived to by both sperm whales and the very
Yep,
frightening
I knew it.
colossal squid.
I knew it.
Sperm whales often have
Absolutely.
sucker marks and scars left on their bodies from
Weren't they
battles
fighting
with the
too?
colossal
Yep.
squid that likely take place at these incredible
They can't
depths.
see.
The squids
At
themselves
least.
can grow to be
So it's hard
14
for them to
meters
fight.
long and weigh up to 750 kilograms with
Wow.
eyes the size of a dinner plate and
Wow.
razor-sharp sickles in the middle of their tentacles.
Wow.
So yeah, good luck with that down there. Way further down at 3,800 meters, we can find the wreck of the RMS Titanic.
I know
And a
it.
bit past that,
I
at
was really
4,000
thinking
meters,
about
we
it.
start to enter the abyssal zone of the ocean. Water pressure is at an astonishing 11,000 pounds per square inch down here, and there are numerous
Hold on, I
strange,
gotta go
almost
back up.
alien.
Hey, buddy. Lilat na. Kumusta lang?
Okay, I'm back.
Alien-like creatures that inhabit these depths, such as
Okay.
fangtooth, anglerfish, and viperfish. Down at
Viper
4,267 meters is the average depth of the ocean where you would normally expect to hit the floor, but there are parts of the ocean that go significantly
Hold on, let me download this real quick. I might need this for power outage. There's no Wi-Fi on power outage.
deeper than even this. At 4,791 meters rests the wreckage of the battleship Bismarck sunk during World War II, and way down at
Oh,
6,000
wow.
meters is the beginning of the Hadal Zone, named after the underworld Hades itself.
Oh, is that hell, bro?
The water pressure down at these depths can become 1,100 times what you would experience way back on top at the surface, which is roughly equal to an elephant balancing on a postage stamp or a single person carrying the weight of 50 Boeing 747 jumbo jets.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. Yeah, water pressure is actually insane. Like, it's just how, like, you're just carrying all the water above you. Doesn't really make sense.
Down at these depths, you would be crushed immediately without any outside protection.
Wow.
But life still exists down here in various strange forms.
What?
At 6,500 meters, we reach the maximum depth that the DSV Alvin can dive to, a popular
Bro, Alvin Chipmunk? Bro, the Alvin. Alvin from the Chipmunks? Bro, that's crazy.
research submarine that helped to discover the Titanic.
Okay.
Way further down at
I know that.
8,848 meters below the
8,000?
surface, and we have arrived at the height of Mount Everest, were it to be upside.
Does that mean Mount Everest is bigger than Burj Khalifa? I did not know how tall Mount Everest was. I know that mountain, but I don't know the size of it. Literally way bigger than the Burj Khalifa and way taller. But that is crazy. What happened if you saw What happens if you saw Mount Everest in person?
Down and placed underwater. And then, way further past even that, at 10,898 meters, we arrive at the depth reached by James Cameron in 2012 during the Deep Sea Challenger mission. The deepest point in the ocean yet reached by humans was back in 1960, though, when two men named Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard reached a depth of
Jacques Piccard. What are these
10,916
names?
meters using their Trieste submarine. It took them 5 hours to descend through the ocean to this depth, and they only stayed for 20 minutes before a window cracked and they began to resurface.
Oh my gosh. But me personally, when a window cracks and I'm in a submarine, I would grab glue and start going crazy, bro. I'm not even kidding.
Just a bit further down from there at 10,972 meters, and we reach the average flight altitude of a commercial airliner. So if you've ever looked out of a window while on a flight and looked down to the ground, that's a very good sense of how incredibly deep down into the abyss that we are currently at. Finally, when we hit 10,994 meters, we have hit the bottom of the known ocean called the Challenger Deep. Right here on
No,
this
that's from fish. But the name of the fish version is different. It's Challenger's Deep.
map just about 300 kilometers southwest of Guam Island.
Guam?
However, it is
What
believed
these
that there are
names? I think
almost
this is made up because these names are so stupid. Like Guam Island, that is this.
certainly even deeper parts of the ocean than this that just haven't been discovered yet. It wasn't until 1997, after all, that the Serena Deep was discovered with a depth of 10,732 meters,
Serena
making it the
Deep?
second deepest known
This
point
is
in
at
the
the
ocean.
Marianas
It is
Veil.
estimated that only about 5% of the ocean's floor has been accurately mapped,
Only
leaving the other
5?
95% to be currently a mystery. It may be only a matter of time before an even deeper part of our ocean is found, and who knows what we may discover there.
Bro really has to put that in the screen. That's crazy. A kraken. Okay, bro. I'm done, bro. I'm done.